Welcome to Section 31, episode number 308. I'm Dan Hammond.
And I am Rogue Schindler.
Welcome back. After a bit of a lapse, we had an episode with Corbett a while back and a couple of episodes with Nobody. How about no episodes, not episodes with Nobody? That would imply that I just recorded by myself or just put up blank air. No, we didn't do that. It's a busy time, so I've been busy with work. You've been busy with things strapped to you. Baby's first podcast. All right.
Yep.
So,
cadet agent,
yeah.
probational agent.
We had time to watch or listen to an episode of the old Peter Pan records, the old Star Trek classic, an episode called Mirror for Futility. We're going to talk briefly about that, and then we're probably going to lapse back into not doing episodes for a little while again, but we'll probably come back a little bit later and get back in the groove. So you had a chance to listen to it earlier today, and I tell you, this is the episode that I remember listening to over and over again. So don't crush me here. How did you like it?
I thought it was well named.
Wow. All right.
It wasn't bad. There was nothing that aside from the shrieking of whatever alien voice that was. But it did feel a little on the futile side. It was like several other episodes we mentioned. It was an interesting premise, and there was definitely, I felt like, some room for exploration. But in the end, nothing happened.
Yeah,
pretty much. We're back. And well, I'm sure they'll go keep on fighting each other and never bother anyone ever. With their million megaton starships or whatever. It's like, talk about your hyperbole.
All right, so to recap, because really it only takes a second. Enterprise is flying around. They find these two ships. They're shooting at each other. They are been shooting at each other for hundreds of thousands of years. The Enterprise taunts them and flies away. They chase them for a minute and then forget about them, and then they keep going on their merry way, and then the Enterprise flies away. The end. Did I miss anything?
That's about it.
Yeah.
That's the general concept. I didn't like, the first thing they do is talk about, like, wow, these two ships are slugging it out, and their technology is miles beyond, they're hitting each other with the power of hundreds of starships, but, just from one blast from one ship, but they're not doing any damage to each other because the other ship is equally as badass. It's like, oh, man. And we're just going to let these, float on. It was like towards the galactic rim, I think they said. So they're like just kind of hoping that they're going to, leave the galaxy and not come back.
All right, I enjoyed the insults that were being flung about.
Yes.
Die social misfit, I think, was my favorite.
I was totally going to say that. Oh my god. Yeah. I like it. Yeah, I like the concept. Of these ancient civilizations, and it's a little bit similar to, some TOS episodes and an eventual Voyager episode. Like it made me think of the androids, the Kravik
units and the
other units, but just the people have died out, but their technology has lived on to continue their fighting and continues to evolve. That was all very interesting. I didn't like that it was very they didn't have to do anything clever. They're like, oh well, maybe if we sort of strong arm them into not coming to Federation. Oh, you dare threaten us? Oh yeah, forget that. Forget what I said there. And then like they just they continue fighting each other, but turn to attack the Enterprise. But they don't get close enough to it until they just decide. Both of them are like, oh, that must be a trick. The other guy is trying to trick me. with you, fake Enterprise, as a distraction. So I'm gonna ignore you. And the other guy thinks the exact same thing. And through no seemingly, and I may have missed it, but it didn't seem like they did anything for that to happen. It just happened. So it was very kind of Deus Ex Machina.
No, they just started running away and hoped that they didn't catch him, and they didn't. So there you go. The end.
So it's like,
All right. Well, I had a great time listening to it again because that screechy, annoying, either the red worm or the other one, I thought it was hilarious.
it was the other one, yeah.
Die, social misfit!
Yes, renderer. It has all the makings for a self-controlled dilemma that just moves along the space line and goes away. Just stay out of its way. If you've got cunning, it doesn't shoot at you or something like that. That's perfect. All right. So when last we talked, we were talking about apps that you were playing because you would have some free time at odd hours. So have you kept up with the timelines in the Pathfinder?
I have. In fact, Pathfinder was amazing. You know, timelines is nice because, as I mentioned, you can just kind of poke at it. Except when there's an event, you just kind of check in every now and then and send out some shuttles, spend your chronotons, and so I've been able to keep up with that pretty well. There've been 2 events in the past month. One just finished yesterday, and one happened the weekend. Like started 2 days after she was born. And I'm like, this is going to rock because I'm going to be up at all hours. I'm going to be able to send out my shuttles every 3 hours without fail. I'm going to own this. And without knowing it, my lovely, lovely wife, the first night was like I got up to help with the first feeding. And then she's like, okay, you go to sleep. I'm going to do this, and I'll put her down. And then she let me sleep through the next 2. She's like, well, I didn't really feel like you could do anything, so I wanted you to get to sleep. And, I'm like, oh, man, I fell behind. And, but I was like, okay, thank you. I appreciate that. And sleep is a precious commodity at that point. Yeah. So, yeah, and it happened twice. The same thing happened with a grandmother who was there. Like, I didn't want to wake you up, so we just took care of it. Like, oh man, I missed okay, thank you. And so I didn't do so well in that one. I was okay with that because they had messed with the rewards a little bit. So you didn't get a legendary for finishing in the top 1,000. You only got a legendary for finishing in the top 500, which is a lot tougher. But I had already decided after the previous event to that I was going to save my dilithium, and about a week after that I got my 4th shuttle. So this weekend I had my first event with 4 shuttles, and oh man, failing 2 shuttle missions is a lot better when you're succeeding at 2 as well instead of only succeeding at 1. That was really nice. I got a jump right away, and that we're way past the nice phase of, oh yeah, I'm just gonna let you sleep, and okay, I'm gonna sleep for a little while. I was up at every iteration, and so probably at least the longest I went without was 4 hours, and so I managed to send in every time, and for not spending any money, and having the 4 shuttles and just being on top of the missions, I still didn't have a great success rate at the missions. I was still hitting only 50%. My guys aren't really high enough spread-wise. I have a lot of security, but apparently only one of them is really high, and you needed a ton of security this weekend. So, but I still managed to hit 318th.
Nice.
So, that's 2 tiers up than I was expecting. I got, 5 rare pulls and the legendary Frank Hollander.
Data?
Yep.
Interesting.
Which is way cooler than it was supposed to be a cowboy roundup, like the holograms. The Ferengi traditionalists have grown bored of their. They worked. That's how they worked in the Kazon. That they had hired the Kazon as to be their enforcers. And they're like, nope, this isn't working. We found this Frank Hollander program, and we're gonna turn things over to him. And then that didn't go well, and so everybody has to clean up that mess. And it had a whole cowboy theme of the Deadwood, so it was Frank Hollander and Cowboy Chekhov.
Cowboy Chekhov? I don't remember that episode.
There was one episode where I think the Melcots are testing the crew, and it's Kirk, Spock, McCoy, and Chekhov.
Right, and is that the OK Corral?
And it's the OK Corral, and they have to go through it, to test whether or not they are, moral or worthy or whatever. And so, yeah, I was less than impressed with that. The super rare was Chekhov. I'm like, I don't want to spend a bunch of effort leveling this guy up, but it was cool. I got enough, to do well enough and get my Frank Hollander. So I'm glad they realigned the rewards so that
nice.
It's a little more reachable for everybody. But still having a good time, still playing that. And yeah, Pathfinder has been a great tool for not falling asleep when it's very important that you don't fall asleep.
Okay. What example?
Just like particularly in the hospital, it's like, well, she's the second night is really rough. Apparently, they're just constantly waking up and feeding every hour or whatever, and so and they're fussy. So I had to keep holding her and keep I was trying to let Caitlin sleep, and
Did you do the baby in one hand, tablet in the other?
Yeah, that's basically it. And it was bounce, 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 tap, 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 and I can't fall asleep while I'm holding the kid, and she's going to roll away, and that'll be it. So it was great. Yeah, Caitlin and I both were saying, it was having the phone or a tablet there. It was nice to be able to have something to let you focus on to keep you awake. And so, yeah, I got a lot of games in. I have 2 parties up through Adventure 2, and then they just released Adventure 3, so I'm working on that. Still having a great time. I'm on my second batch of I bought. Have you done any of the gold treasure?
I have not.
I got my second batch of. I saved up to get 10 chests because then you get a free 11th, and it's not game breaking, so you could totally go without it. It's not super exciting, but it was kind of nice. Mostly it looks like they're cards from like other sets. So like, oh, here's a card that you can only find in this character deck, the OP character deck, or this was from something else. So, we got a basic fox, which is super, we always joke in OP, the fox is such a great ally because it can go anywhere. So I was like, oh, all right, got a couple of foxes and give those to Leanie or whatnot. So got a +1 great club for Amiri and things like that. So yeah, not, I would not, I'm not going to re-up my monthly gold for that, but it's totally worth it if you want to save up your the rewards from pillaging, especially if you've already purchased the bundle like we have.
Sure. Yeah. No,
your gold's not really good for anything else.
Yeah, exactly. I poked at it here and there. Just finished a game while giving the kids a bath, so there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on.
Well, you basically worked Adventure 1 and 2 to death, right? So Adventure 3 is out. So that'd be like new ground for you.
No, I haven't gotten that far.
Okay.
I went through and I think I had played through the free one all the way through on all 3 levels.
Oh, yeah.
But either I wasn't online when I did it, or it got reset at some point. So now I can go back to it again.
No.
But it should be pretty quick. I only have 1 group. I just have your standard adventure party. 4 guys, 4 plus a bard, and it's going pretty well.
Nice.
All right. You did miss out on Friday. The Friday night gaming. We did this.
Awesome. How did it go?
It went very well. Sorry for those of you who are listening and not staring at the screen. Made a new version of Escape. If you've ever played Escape the Forbidden Temple or the Cursed Temple or something, got a new version that we're taking with us on our science fiction themed holiday at Origins. It's Escape the Death Star. So I've got new tiles with curses and all kinds of stuff all over the place. So,
Nice.
yeah, should be fun. And you've got I've got to give you this Chewbacca back because this one doesn't fit. But you gave me two, so I'll give back one of them and trade you for that Mara for a little while.
Great.
And yeah, but it went really well. And we got a game of Pathfinder in, and we got a game of Kill Dr. Lucky in, so it was a good time. I don't think anything's on the schedule for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be hanging out to Origins a week from Tuesday, so perhaps we can record on the way back and we can chat about what happened.
Sure, that sounds great. I'm excited to hear how things went, and if you found anything new and exciting in the realms of new games or new OP Pathfinder excitement.
Yeah, I'm hoping to crash the Pathfinder tables for a little bit. In the past, they haven't released any new character decks at Origins. It's all been at Gen Con, but I will definitely keep my eyes peeled, unless I'm misremembering. I don't remember anything new appearing at Origins.
I don't remember either.
Yeah.
Just the new OP adventures.
Right. Yes. Yeah. See if we can find the old the same group that shows up to all the cons and plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll join them. All right.
Awesome.
Very good. Then until then, the next if you want to listen along at home, the next audio episode is called "The Logistics of Stampede." I seem to remember this one having a guy with an accent and good Foley, but that's all I remember. So.
Oh man. Oh yeah. That was like the thing that really annoyed me about this episode. It sounded like dull, low, and in the background there was like an emergency broadcast tone going.
Okay.
Maybe it was just the recording I found, but I was like, oh. So yeah, looking forward to some better Foley. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. We'll talk about how bad it is.
All right.
Next week.
All right. Well, that's all the intelligence we have for this week. I am Sir Rogue.
And I'm still Sir Dan.
And I will remind you all to expand your power in the universe.
And I will draw to end.